can do 137. Oh, can you get the mod hub working at the moment? Because it doesn't seem to be working for me. I just come up with a loading mod hub and it just hangs. Fortunately, the exit button still works. But it seems to have been down most of the day. I was also having issues getting to the Giants web page. But that was intermittently bad. Going to the forums, it would either load the link you clicked, or it would just sit there with the Windows circle going round and round and round and round and round. So it's sort of, yeah, they're having a problem, or there's a problem somewhere. So I guess I'll check for updates some other time. Now, where was I going? 138 or something? 137. Which I think is down at the bottom of the road. Okay. So yes, animal breeding and production is vastly different from the main game. In the main game, all your cows are milk producers, and there's really not a significant difference in them, except some are white with black spots, some are black, some are brown, and some are brown with white spots, or white with brown spots, or whatever. But they're all pretty much the same. With seasons, you have different breeds. Someone did try an animal breed mod early on in 19, so that some of the breeds were meat producers, or better meat producers, others were better milk producers. But with seasons, you either have male animals, okay, I'll have to check it when I come out of the game, or you have female animals. Now, male animals don't breed, so if you're going for breeding achievements, that's not a thing you want to consider. If male animals also don't produce milk, they do produce wool, and pigs produce bacon. But with the chickens, if you buy male chickens, you're going to breed them, or you're going to feed them for about 6-7 months, and then you're going to sell them. With the pigs, the male pigs, you're going to feed them till they're, I think, about 280 pounds in weight, and then you're going to sell them. So we'll pull up the animal menu. How do we do? I don't think I can do that. It would have to be at an animal thing. The only thing we've got is chickens. So I'm going to run down here. We'll finish this contract, and then I'll pop back to the chicken coop, and we'll demonstrate with the chickens. And chickens are kind of an oddity, because chickens have roosters. So if you buy the female chickens and no roosters, they will produce eggs, and that's all. If you buy, I think it's approximately 1 rooster per 5 chickens, maybe 8 chickens, then the chickens will breed and produce baby chickens as well as eggs. But you have to have the roosters in addition to the breeding chickens. And as I said, male chickens don't lay eggs, obviously, because they're boy chickens, and boy chickens don't do eggs. And that's just a biology thing. What if they identify as female chickens? Mrs. Osa, stop trying to confuse matters. And there we go, done. So, I will collect on that, and then we will go to chicken coop visit. So, here we are with our chickens. Jump over the top, and if we pull up the chat box. So what we have is we have roosters. You need roosters if you have female chickens in order for the female chickens to make baby chickens. The Cornish cross, you buy them for $1 and you feed them for about 6 months and then you sell them. So 6 months obviously depends on season. If you're playing 9-day seasons, then you have to go through 18 days. If you're playing a 3-day season, then you have to go through 6 days. Female chickens, we bought the white leghorns, and we bought them at 0.4 years old at 2.1 kilos. Now if we look down, we have this bunch of female chickens here, which are currently worth €5, which is €1 less than what we bought them for. And the roosters are 3. So anyway, so the roosters are 0.8 years old, 6 kilos. So they haven't got any heavier. They've just got a little bit older. The girly chickens have put on 0.2 kilos in weight and are now 0.2 years old. But you'll see we also have all these other chickens that aren't 2.3 kilos. So we've got this one, white leghorn, which is 1 kilo, which is less than you'd buy it for, 0.2 years old. So this was a baby chicken, and I'm in the buy sell menu. You'll also notice if I do this and attempt to buy a chicken, there is no fee for transfer. Chickens do not cost you anything to ship to the farm or sell. Once the coop is full, sell all but 1 rooster. Once the coop is full, you could sell all of the roosters. However, if we go to oh, that's the other thing. They've moved the animal menu would normally be somewhere in here. That's gone, and we now have a new menu on the seasons menu. This shows you all of your animal pens. We just have a chicken coop. We have 45 chickens. As I said, we have a bunch of roosters at the top, and we have varying weights of chicken around here. 2.3 chicken is the ones we bought. You'll see they're 0.6 years old, 2.3. The whole pen requires 4,300 litres, they call it 4,400 litres of food per year. Now that's divided by the number of days that you have in your year. I'm running 9-day seasons, 36. So I end up with 36 days in a year, So that number is divided by 36. That's how much food they use per day. This chicken is not expecting. So next animal in is, we're going to have a new chicken from this one in imminently, and some of these have 0.1 years until. Now most of these have obviously reproduced since we started with 20 and we've now got 45. So we then have a couple of 1 kilogram chickens. These are not fertile yet, they're only 0.2 years old, but we have baby chickens can be males or females, so we're probably going to sell the male chickens when they get sufficient value. This is our latest chicken. It is 0 years, 0 weight, fairly healthy and worth nothing. Then we got a couple of chickens at the top which are 0.2. These are also newborns. 0.3 is 0.1 year old, not fertile yet, and same with the 0.6s. The males don't have a fertility because they can't lay eggs. So as I said, in general you're going to produce male chickens, you're going to sell them to market, and female chickens you can either sell or keep as your breeding stock. But obviously my roosters are going to start getting tired because I've only got 4 of them, and we have 45 chickens in this pen, and that's a lot of chickens to be with. So anyway, the breeding chickens cost $6 or $8. The rooster costs $17. The male chickens that you just fatten up and sell back only cost $1, and they're 0 years old. So we're going to let our chickens run, and obviously all of the new chickens that we produced are only costing us food, and they don't eat much food, so it's not a big deal. Let's go and have a look at how much is chicken food, because we've bought, okay, we've spent $3,000 on chicken food so far because we kind of needed chicken food, and the reason I have the chickens is for the breeding achievement, not necessarily the financial income. Although we sold some eggs, they're producing a whole bunch more eggs, and they're producing lots of chickens that we can probably sell at $5 a time. So let's jump back to our little tractor. I can imagine. Okay, so once the coop is full, and so once the coop is full, because as I said, we're producing male chickens, and the male chickens are only good for fattening up and selling. So we'll always be selling the male chickens. I think the chickens do die, so your breeding chickens will eventually die, and obviously you're going to need to replace the older ones with the newer ones. 119, 128. I'm going to find another field to 128 is the next one, and we'll head off over there. So, and it's similar with the sheep and the cows and the pigs. There are male only breeds which basically you buy them, you're never going to have more than you bought, and they're just going to get fat, and then then you sell them. However, with cows, sheep and pigs, it costs you money to transport them, so it's a good idea to have an animal trailer. I would have to check on the Realismus website to find out the relative ages. I think don't know about chickens. Male chickens live 6 months. Actually, it's about 7 months, but sell them at 6 months. Most of the male animals that you're fattening have a target weight, so what you want to do is feed them until they're that weight and then sell them. With the females, I think cows last about 6 years maybe, so you're going to want to replace them over time, but it's not, that's a lot of playtime to get 6 years of 6 years in a game with seasons. I mean, as an example, Farm Sim 17, my Lawfolds playthrough we're in winter of the 6th year, and I have over 700 hours playing that. So it's gonna take a while. Obviously, I'm using 6-day seasons. You could shorten that with 3-day seasons, but seriously, that's a lot of playtime to end up with dead, dying breed cows, breed pigs or sheep, I think. So I did watch Mr. Seeley P's just done a bunch of seasons animals on console, and the rules for console are exactly the same as the rules for PC as far as this particular subject is concerned. His opinion on pigs was, what did he do? He bought 20 pigs and saved them as his breed stock, and between them, over something like a 6-month period, the pigs produced about 130 baby piggies. And you need somewhere to put those baby piggies, because ideally what you're doing is you're keeping your 20 and selling all the rest of it at a profit. Whether they're male or female, you're just saying, okay, here's a pig, we breed it up to a certain, or we feed it up to a certain point, and then we sell it and rake in the cash. And you are doing that constantly. And if you're breeding 130 pigs per 6-month period, that's kind of a lot of money. Even only $400 per pig to sell, that's still a lot of money. What am I doing? I'm looking for field 119, which is down the road. Oh, there's a road over there. Okay, down the road, follow it round, I think there's a path there, so that's where we're going. And put it in gear. With cows, obviously they're milk producer. Cows don't start producing milk until they've had babies, and a cow takes 0.7 of a year to make a baby. So you have to factor that in to the equation. You're basically going to buy cows, and the earliest any one of those cows is going to produce milk is 0.7 years after you bought them. So quite a long time. So you have to support the cows for that length of time. With sheep it's not quite as long, and also sheep just produce wool because it's what they do. And I think their gestation might be around 0.4 months between each, but sheep are easy. You just keep them fed. Oh, the other thing Seeley P said about the pigs was, okay, normal game you feed, if you fill the trough up, it lasts 10 days. With seasons, it lasts 2 days. Now, with most animals, there's 2 days of food in the trough. Fine, okay, I can feed them every other day, or possibly every day, just top them up. He said with the pigs breeding at the rate they were doing, so 130 over a 6-month period, he had to feed the pigs twice a day. You feed them once in the morning as your regular feed, and then you have to go back in the evening to see how much food they are now eating, because the ones that were already there are eating more because they're fatter, and the ones that and you've also got new ones. So pigs are quite a hefty workload. However, with seasons, pigs don't need root crops, so you don't have to go out and plant potatoes and sugar beets. They take corn. Corn is their main feed, and then they take barley or wheat, and canola, sunflowers, or soybeans. So much like normal, but they do not require sugar beets or potatoes, which is awesome. Because I don't have to have root crop storage or a ton of pallets of sugar beets or potatoes on hand to be able to keep the pigs fed. I mean, to be fair, the root crops are a pain in the butt for pigs, because I planted a field on I didn't plant a field on Lawfolds. I bought a field with sugar beets on it in Lawfolds, and I used the regular tractor harvester, and I think I sold 90% of them and still ended up with about 50 crates of sugar beets, and I've still got about 45 crates of them. So it's a storage issue. You have to plant a field of sugar beets, you harvest it, and that's more sugar beets than you can hope to use up over the course of 6 years. So you're going to sell most of them. And you have to buy all of the harvesting equipment, which is not cheap. Please finish, yes. Okay, and that's all the contracts again. Yay contracts. Okay, how do we get out of here? We come out of here, we turn north. We keep going north till the big road. That seems like a good thing to do. So we turn right, and then we turn left around 65. Personally, I like seasons. There are challenges, and it's kind of a more, in a way, it's more leisurely. With the regular game, as soon as my crop has grown, I feel the pressure to harvest the field and get it replanted as soon as I can, because money is made by crops. And once a crop is ready to harvest, I need to harvest that so that I can get a new crop in the ground and make more money. With seasons, you don't have that pressure. The pressure's slightly different. At the moment we're in early summer. Tomorrow is also going to be early summer, because, as I said, I'm running a 9-day season. So 3 days for early summer, 3 days for midsummer, 3 days for late summer. And I have absolutely nothing to do on this farm at the moment. My fields are 100% fertilised. There's no weeds. They're just growing nicely. And so I'm doing contracts like crazy to make money so I can afford to buy a harvester. Or get close to buying a harvester even if I don't have enough. I also need a dipper to haul the grain in. But with my Lawfolds playthrough, which as I've said is 6 months, or sorry, 6 years gone, I own approximately half the fields on the map. If I carried on going at the end of year 7, I would own 2/3 of the map, and quite possibly by the end of year 8 I would own the entire map. That's how much money I'm making from my crops. The problem I have is I have one harvester, and typically it rains 4 days of the 6. I'm playing a 6-day seasons on that playthrough. It rains 4 days of the 6 in fall. And so I'm working against the weather in that case to get all of my crops harvested, because you can't harvest crops when they're wet. But unlike the standard game, they're wet for longer. So it rains, the crops become wet immediately. They remain wet all the way through the rain shower, but as soon as it stops raining, it takes time for the crops to dry. And so I'm sitting there waiting for the crops to dry. Now, I'll let you know that the last 2 days of fall on Lawfolds, it rained both days. On day 5, it rained right at the end of the day, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon onwards. And that meant that on day 6, which was the day I planned to cut the grass in all 3 of my grass fields, the ground was wet, the grass was wet, and it turns out you can cut wet grass, which is kind of nice. So I took the grass train out and I cut 2 fields and made silage bales out of it, which is what I'd planned to do. On the 3rd field, my plan was to cut the grass, ted it, and make some hay bales, so I had some spare hay bales for the sheep. Unfortunately, wet grass, when you ted it in Farm Sim 17, does not become hay. As soon as the tedder turns it into hay, but as soon as the hay hits the ground, it becomes wet grass again. And so I could not create any hay. Now, the rest of that day, the ground was wet. And then right at the end of the day, about 6 o'clock in the evening, it rained. So everything that had been drying out all day was gone. And first day of winter, the